It's the I Can't Mom Today podcast with Heather, the new mom, and Vera, the seasoned mom. I Can't Mom Today.
Hey, this is Vera and Heather back again with another episode of I Can't Mom Today podcast. Hi, Vera.
Hello, Heather.
How are you?
I'm good, I think. It's just been, I don't know, one thing after the next. And then
I hear you.
Well, I think I may have mentioned on a previous podcast that I stopped taking the medication I was taking for my RA because of the virus, because I was worried about my immune system. And so I'm feeling a little older. I can tell, in other words. So I'm really having to watch what I eat, which is a big bummer because I really wanted a hamburger last night and I couldn't have one because meat is inflammatory. So I'm a little grouchy, I think, because I'm having to seriously watch my diet even more than usual, and I'm stiff. So I feel.
Have you tried turmeric?
Actually, I did in the past, and I was told by my acupuncturist, aka my guru, and she said, "No, this isn't good for you. For some reason, it doesn't work for my body in particular."
Perfect.
I know. So I take all kind of other weird Chinese stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I need to go see somebody like that. I need to go see her.
Yeah. No, because people ask me, what are you taking? And I'm like, I'll take a picture of it so you can look at the labels, because half of the writing is in Chinese. So I don't know. I just trust her because I do feel like she's changed a lot, and and so it helps. But so yeah, it kind of makes me, I feel a little bit like a grumpy old man right now.
Perfect.
Because I'm stiff, and if for some reason I shifted during, I'm like, "Urgh!" And Jerry's like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, "Oh, nothing, just a little stiff."
Oh man, I went to bed last night. Like my leg was just aching. I had to take Advil because it was so painful.
Oh, why was it aching?
I don't know. It just does. It just does sometimes.
Huh? That's weird.
It's so bizarre. But
how are you?
Yeah, I am I finished my antibiotics.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes,
I mentioned that on the Facebook page. That took forever to go away too.
It didn't take so long to go away. It just, I wasn't really feeling great. Like my throat was swollen until end of last week. Sorry,
you hear my cat?
No, I thought.
Hello.
Oh yeah. If you hear a donkey in my background, it's a dog. So
sorry. Yeah. Let's say hi, Cinnamon. Now, of course, she doesn't say anything. So yeah. So your throat was swollen.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, that's when I talked to you on the phone, last week, I guess it was.
Yeah.
You sounded terrible. And I was like, don't talk. You don't have to talk.
Yeah. I think that was day 2.
Oh,
yeah. And I caught it really early this time, but so it wasn't terrible. I've had terrible before, but this was severe. But good news is I gave it to Baker.
Oh no.
But not in his throat, on his tushy.
Oh no, really?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So what do you do? I guess you just put some kind of lotion on it?
No, antibiotics.
Really?
Uh-huh. Yeah, I don't even know how it happened, but it happened. And he was scratching his tushy, and I was just like, what is going on? I got so angry with him because we were like, oh, okay, so he hasn't, he seems pretty good. And it's 2 to 5 days before onset of symptoms or whatever. And it'd been 5 days. I was like, yes, we're out of the clear last weekend. And he was just man, I was trying to put him down for a nap, and he just kept scratching. I mean, not his tushy, his butthole. And he was just digging up in there. I was like, stop scratching your no. I was like, what is wrong with you? I was like, that's nasty. Why are you doing that? Because we thought it was just a rash. We thought it was his,
well, he doesn't have diapers anymore, right?
No, but maybe school didn't wipe him that well, or something. They're toddlers, right?
Yeah.
And I was so annoyed by it. And Brad was at drill, so it was just me. I was like,
Stop scratching your butthole.
I just washed his hands and put more diaper, because we still had diaper cream, so I put some on there.
Yeah.
And as soon as I put it on that hand right there, I was like, gross! And there's diaper cream all over the room. I was just like, Jesus. And so I did the Dr. Google, and it came up did your somebody in your house have strep recently? I was like, son of a.
Ooh.
And so I had to take a picture of his butthole and send it to the doctor.
Oh my gosh. So, and then the doctor just called in the prescription.
Yeah, the doctor was like, yeah, that's 100% strep. I was like, perfect.
Oh my God, how weird. I've never heard of a bunghole strep.
Yeah, neither have I. And Brad's stepmom was an ER nurse for 30, 40 years, Lord knows. But she's been a nurse for a really long time. And she's like, I've never heard of that before. I was like, yeah, that's what it is.
Apparently it's a thing.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, like, yeah. So the way it's transmitted is respiratory particles. And so I don't know if, when I was wiping him afterwards, like, I don't know. Or maybe he like stuck his hand in his mouth because, he does that.
Yeah.
Stuck his hand in my mouth.
Well, it's so easy. Yeah. I tried so hard not to give Luca because I get, the herp cold sores.
Yeah.
And I tried so hard. And then one night when he was trying to get him to go to bed, you know how hard it is to get him to go to bed when he was 3 or whatever, or 4. And sure enough, his head hit me in the mouth right when I had a cold sore. And better believe it, a couple days later, he had a cold sore. I was like, I was trying so hard. Like when I get cold sores, I'm like, nobody come near me. I'm not kissing you. I'm not touching you. I'm washing my hands every time. We're using not anywhere near the same towel, because I'm trying so hard because I hate them so badly. Yeah. But he hasn't gotten one since then. Knock on wood.
Well, that's good.
That's good. So we'll see. But yeah, so you feel bad, but little kids, I mean, they're boogery and goobery, and it's just hard not to.
I was like, transmit. I washed my hands. What happened?
Well, I know.
So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Were you worried about it being coronavirus when you first got sick, or were you just like, oh yeah, it's
I was like, oh, it's probably allergies or something. But then like as the day went on, I started getting more and more like run down feeling. And I was like, this is something. And so I called the doctor and she's like, okay, we're going to go ahead and get you tested for strep. And so I had to drive to the doctors, and on the way she called back and she's like, we're going to go ahead and test you for coronavirus. And then I started like internally freaking out a little bit because I was like, oh my gosh, I have asthma and like I have PCOS. So it's like a lot of people with PCOS are pre-diabetic. And I was like, but I missed the cutoff of the coronavirus testing by like 10 minutes. Oh. And I think it was just in the cards. And then by the time I had gotten home, she called back. She's like, yeah, it's strep. I was like, perfect.
Oh, good. Well, I was going to say, because I hear the test is really painful / uncomfortable. So could you dodge that bullet?
Yeah, for sure.
Because, I mean, of course, it's necessary. And I'm not trying to make light of testing, but still, I hear it's like, the people I know who've gotten tested, they're like, yeah, it's like they take out a piece of your brain. Yeah. It's like they're all the way back in there. And so I'm hoping I never have to get tested.
Same.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. I'm better, and Baker's butt's looking better. Sounds good.
I'm glad.
He's got Baker's 5 more days of antibiotics. So.
Oh, God. And then you feel guilty because you got mad at him for scratching his butt.
Yeah, I did feel bad, but at the same time, like, yeah. I mean, he doesn't know how to articulate anything right now. Like he talks a lot all the time, but when you ask him a question, he's like, no, or yeah, or like he still asks for treats, and like he's like, I want that, and you're like, you know what it is?
Yeah,
say it. So
use your words. Yeah, use your words.
So he can't tell me like, I don't know. We'll be like, does your tushy itch? Like this morning, he was scratching it again. I was like, we need to wash your hands again, buddy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not, it's not contagious anymore. So
yeah, it's just gross.
Yeah. Super gross.
You don't want to give a kid any more reason to touch their butt.
I know. He's like, I did not. I was like, I literally watched you touch your tushy. So, yeah. It's good times. Good times.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Oh.
So today's topic is not so great, but it's something that you posted about on Facebook.
Yeah. I did.
And so if you want to take that away.
It's sad. But I thought it was something pertinent to talk about because, if you saw on our Facebook page that a friend of ours' son passed away suddenly in his sleep. This just happened about a week or so ago. And he was friends with my son. They weren't close friends, but they traveled in the same circles or whatever and hung out from time to time and everything. And just an awesome, super sweet kid. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't sick. No idea and as of right now, so far as I know, they still don't know exactly what happened, and we're waiting to find out. But as you can imagine, when I got the news, I had to call Luke to tell him, that his friend had passed. And Luke was, of course, being 17. He's all over the place. Like, I can't, I have to hunt him down. Thank God for cell phones. Mm-hmm. And he was just like silent for a second. And he said, "Oh my God." He's like, "This is weird." He said, "I really had this feeling that something was going to happen. But I thought it was going to be me," which I was like,
what?
I know, that was a very strange response. And I was like, well, that's the thing. It could be anybody. I mean, at this point, it could have been anybody. If it's a healthy 16, 17-year-old just passes in their sleep, you just don't know. And that's, I think, obviously, aside from the absolute, every bit of my heart goes out to his parents. You also can't help but think, oh my God, that could have been my kid.
Yeah.
Like
he went to bed and just didn't wake up.
Yeah. He went to bed he had sent a text to one of his friends at like 11 o'clock. And then he was supposed to get up early, and he just started this new job he was all excited about. And as he wasn't getting up, and his grandparents went and they found him at like 6 a.m. And he was just, and there were no signs. I mean, he was just there in bed, perfectly. So anyway, the thing was that I was thinking about, and then Luke, of course, his response, and he was just like, well, I said, I want you to know, I'm going to try not to get too emotional. Oh, I want you to know how much I love you. And I was like, well, me too. And he's like, well, I love you, Mommy. And I'm like, oh my God, he hasn't called me Mommy in like a decade at least. But he purposely said that because he knew that it would speak to me. Mm-hmm. So I was thinking, how we all respond to grief and losing someone we love. Mm-hmm. And for Luke, in his little 17-year-old life, this is the first time that he's lost a friend, Mm-hmm. And how do you deal with that? And then as a parent, what can you do to comfort your child? Because after that, after we went through the whole I love yous and everything, I said, well, I really want you to come home because I want to just give you a big fat hug and I want to stare at you all night,
mm-hmm. And go check him. Like you do.
Exactly. Well, which is, that's the thing. If you've listened to previous episodes, Heather always makes fun of me because I check to make sure he's breathing in the middle of the night. And I thought, wow, this is really ironic. I wanted him to come home, and he said, well, honestly, I don't want to because I don't want to think about it. I just want to hang out with my friends and kind of not think about it for a while. Mm-hmm. And then, just give me some time.
Yeah.
So as a mom, I wasn't sure exactly how to respond. At first I was, your instinct is, no, I freaking want you here because I want to, handcuff you to me and, and watch you breathe. But then I thought, well, if that doesn't help him, his emotional well-being, and if this is the way he needs to deal with his grief, then I think I need to let him deal with it his own way. Mm-hmm. So that was the choice that I made. And then flash forward. So this all happened a week ago today. And then the funeral was this past Tuesday. We were debating about going because we knew that, this was a really great kid. It's a great family. So we knew that there were going to be tons of people there. Sure. And I was worried about coronavirus and getting to, because you figure everybody's crying and boogering all over themselves. And, mm-hmm. It's hard not to keep social distancing in a funeral home, Yeah. I was concerned about going because of that. And I wasn't sure if Luke could handle it. So I didn't bring anything up to him. But one of our mutual friends' sons was a pallbearer. And he said, Luke, I really want you to come. So Luke told me that, and I said, well, coronavirus, blah, blah, blah. Are you going to be okay with going? And he said, well, I want to go, but I don't know if I want to be around people. And I said, I understand, because I hate crying in front of other people, and I know I'm probably going to cry. Mm-hmm. And so after a few minutes, he just looked at me. He's like, and this is literally 20 minutes before the funeral is starting. He's like, I just feel like if I don't go, I'm going to regret it. Mm-hmm. I was like, all right, let's go. So I literally like threw on my clothes. He threw on clothes, brushed my teeth, put my hair in a ponytail, and we ran out there. I got there right at 11 o'clock when it started and got into one of the overflow rooms, which actually ended up being a good thing because we were able to kind of stay apart from people. And it was beautiful. But the thing that was really interesting was one of the main points that the pastor talked about was you should live your life with no regrets. And it was literally what Luke said to me, and that's why we ended up going to the funeral. Is he said, "I feel like I'll regret it if I don't go," and that was one of the main points of the whole, whatever you'd call it, sermon, I guess, or whatever. Isn't that crazy?
Insane.
So I thought, okay, well, we're obviously in the right place then. We did the right thing, and we got to see the mom and give her a big fat hug and everything, and a couple other mutual friends. But we basically tried to get out of there, and we didn't go to the gravesite, partly because, again, I was a little worried about being around too many people who've been crying all over the place. And, I posted a thing on Facebook about, obviously, hug and love your loved ones because you don't know, because life is uncertain. But then that was when I thought about teaching your children how to deal with death and grief and how do you respond to that,
Yeah. Now with that, you said the grandparents found him. Is it like, was he staying at the grandparents' house or the grandparents live with them?
Actually, it was, I don't think the grandparents live with him. I think they might have been staying with him because his parents had gone out of town. His parents and little brother had gone out of town. And so it may have been that the grandparents maybe spent the night or whatever or a few nights to make sure that. So his parents were out of town. So his parents had to get that phone call.
Oh my God.
And then drive back into town. I was like, I don't know how.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I would have to hire somebody to drive me probably.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I'd have to hire somebody to hold me up, to drive me, to, shove food in my face, to, So, anyways, yeah. So it was a pretty crazy incident, and it was just interesting to see how Luke dealt with it and everything. And then the other thing he said too is he's like, I feel like I could have gotten to know him better. I feel like, I didn't realize he really wanted to learn how to wrestle, and I could have taught him more about wrestling, and I could have done this and I could have done that. Why didn't I do that? And I was like, well, that's the whole point of what the pastor was saying, live your life with no regrets. Maybe that's what you were supposed to learn from this, is that you need to try and think forward a little bit more, or I don't know, but who knows? Hindsight's 20/20, man,
Yeah.
So did you ever, when you were like his age, Luke's age, ever lose a friend or somebody like that?
No, I mean, we had people that died in our school, but it was like in a car accident. Somebody else was huffing Freon. So
oh goodness.
Yeah. But no, certainly not of unknown causes. And I mean, still tragic, obviously. Like I can imagine their parents.
Yeah. Because losing a child like that. But I was just, because I was thinking too about their mutual friend who was a pallbearer, and how he was, because he had to go as a pallbearer, he felt he needed to go to the viewing as well as the funeral and be involved. And his mother said, I really think you should try and plan on being at everything involved with the funeral, which he was fine with because they're very good friends. They were closer than Luke was to this boy. And I don't know if I could have, but again, who knows? I don't know if I could have at 17 years old or 16 years old handled going to all of that stuff and keeping it together. No,
not at all. Like I mean, even now, like, as a long in the tooth person, I was going to say as a mature, but that's not really true. Losing someone even now, and I lost a friend and a mentor a few years ago, and it was just like so shocking. It was an embolism. It was just very like, what? And even that like just shook my world. So I can't imagine you losing a friend at such a young age when you're so you don't have your shit together mentally. Not that I do now, but less so because your brain's still so there's so much development that still needs to be done in that brain.
Oh yeah.
I can't imagine having to navigate those emotions.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. Well, and then the world is so strange right now to begin with, you know?
Yeah.
And for that to happen on top of it. So you're, here you are a teenager and you've got your school basically has been totally disrupted.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course with some of the protests that have been going on around the country, like here, of course, there's all this talk about how Antifa was maybe coming to town. And so then, of course, I'm calling Luke saying, where are you? Don't drive downtown. Don't drive here. We don't know. You could be dangerous. Yeah. Stay at your friend's house. Don't leave the house. Don't whatever. So you've got all that going on. And then to lose a friend like that is just like, talk about feeling like the world is uncertain.
Yeah.
Like,
what is this generation going to look like?
Exactly. Like I've thought about that. Like we talk about like our grandparents who lived through the Depression and how they never throw anything away and how that impacted them. And that's why they never throw anything away, because you never knew when you're going to get another one, because there was no money. There was no, and so I wonder what they're going to be doing, 20 or 30 years from now. That's going to be what trait is going to be the result of the uncertainty in the world right now.
Paper products will always be stocked.
Right, exactly. They'll always have plenty of toilet paper.
Hand soap and hand sanitizer. Disinfecting wipes and sprays.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think they'll probably be a little bit more germophobic, maybe.
Do you think there's going to be a time where it's going to be so common to see people in masks? Like in Asia, like you often see people in masks.
That's true.
Do you think there's going to be they're going to tell their grandkids, like, there used to be a time where we didn't wear masks?
Right? I don't know, but I wonder, maybe in certain situations, maybe.
I don't know. Sorry,
certainly
we went off on a different tangent. So
yeah, but that's okay. I mean, I think it's kind of, just going through with the uncertainty and feeling like the world is shaky.
Gosh, I just like there are sometimes, I think we all take for granted our children at some point. Like it's just our lives get so busy and so crazy that we just don't appreciate them. But man, there are sometimes where I just look at Baker, I'm just like, holy cow.
Oh yeah.
What an insane thing this is.
I know. Well, yeah, you think, it's, you love them so much it hurts, like sometimes if you look at him, like your heart, like I'll be looking at Luke and he's like, why are you looking at me? Stop looking at me. Like, I'm looking at you because I love you.
Yeah.
Oh, really, Mom?
Yeah. 100%.
Like, you just wait till you have babies someday. You'll be the same way. And then the next minute it's like, for God's honest, could you just clean the kitty litter?
Yeah.
Can I? Why is it so hard to pick up your laundry? Ah! Right, Cinnamon? She just agreed. I don't know.
Cinnamony.
Yeah, Cinnamony. She said, right? Clean the kitty litter, will ya? Well,
if you have a story of a loss of a child or loss of a friend when you were younger, we'd love to hear those stories and surround you with some positive energy and some affirmations for your feelings. Go to our Facebook page.
Yes, I Can't Mom Today podcast. And same thing on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, I Can't Mom Today podcast. And then I Can't Mom Today podcast at Gmail to email us as well.
Yeah. And don't forget to, I know it's something that I never think about either, but when you hear a podcast and you like it, you can definitely subscribe to it. Give us some ratings on the podcast sites. You can either give us stars or you can actually give us some feedback.
Yeah.
Like
we're always open to constructive feedback.
Yeah, always.
For sure. Yes.
So head on over to your favorite podcasting app and take care of that.
That's right.
Really appreciate
it. Or right after you're done listening to this one, click 5 stars.
Yeah. Or any other star, whatever. It's
Nope, 5. Only 5.
Until next time, have a great week.
Bye.